In the last episode, we went over the end of the season. We ended up making the playoffs, so excited for the playoff run, but we also went over our roster and how we increased, how we did, but it was for the pitchers. And in this episode, we are going to go over how the rest of our team, how our position players did, how they finished up, and how excited we are for them next year. So we're going to get it started with Salvi Perez. He did not play last year because of the injury, so we kept him out. However, he did increase pretty well down in the minor leagues, plus threes, plus fives. Yeah, we would have liked it have been more, and he did come up and actually play a game before we simmed it, and he played in that game. But he didn't play in the playoffs because I didn't think it'd be fair enough to do that. So Salvi Perez looking pretty good, had a good year, ready for next year. Mitch Garver, we picked up from the Twins in a trade because Salvi, and he did really great for us. He had 281, had 8 home runs, 43 RBIs. Could not be happier to get a replacement catcher have this great a season and hit 281. So definitely a big part in our roster, and he's out 1 to 6 days with that shoulder injury. So Cam Gallagher will probably be our pitcher or our catcher for the playoffs. He hit 269 on the year. He increased pretty well as well. He's not a power guy. He's mostly contact, but he's mostly just behind the plate. Good arm strength, good arm accuracy, that type of thing. Another guy that played with us was Vioria. He came up for a few games, played in 8 games, hit 333 average. Don't expect that to happen every time, but he's pretty good as well. He does have B potential, 63 overall at 22 years of age. Nick Denny, he's a C. He went up actually quite a bit on his power, but most of these guys down here, we don't really expect to see them in the majors. They're more or less just filling spots. Matt Jones, we ended up picking up at the end of the year, and yeah, he's just filling a spot for the catcher role. Ryan O'Hearn did have a great year, plus 10 vision, plus 9 power versus right, and plus 6 with contact versus right. He is a lefty, and he had a great season. I mean, he hit way more home runs than I thought he would ever hit. He hit for a higher average than I thought he would hit. In real life, he's been kind of struggling, but he goes down to AAA and then destroys people. So he's got the potential there. But for us, he hit 280 in 139 games. He hit for 36 home runs and 106 RBIs. The 94 strikeouts is pretty high. We want to bring that down a little bit, but not a bad season for him. In the minors, Duenas had a great season as well. Contact versus lefties went up 14, power versus right up 6, and power versus left up 5. He also increased his fielding as well. He did come up and play 5 games during the September call-ups and didn't hit very well, hitting 125, but definitely one of our top prospects. Another top prospect is Nick Parado. He increased pretty well, up pluses. Most of everything on him went up a little bit. I'd like to see a bigger jump, but I think he's honestly ready for kind of if something happens in the majors. I would say he's probably ready to come up to the majors and at least see what he can do. He's pretty good. He's really good down in AAA. He hit very, very well down there. But he's not the only one. Evan White as well hit pretty good down in AAA. He increased a little bit. As you can see, I think he increased more, but he had a lot of negatives at the beginning of the season, and then at the end of the season he started doing well and started gaining positives. So I think that's why he didn't gain, I guess, as much. Another first baseman we have is Feliz. He did pretty well with contact, went up plus 9, but this is a guy that probably won't make it to the major league team. Same thing with Yasiel, probably won't make it to the majors. Coming up is Whit Merrifield. He did pretty well. He is decreasing because of his age. His overall went down a little bit. His speed dropped 1, which is kind of a big deal for him since he's a speedy guy. He went plus 6 up in contact in versus rights and minus 3 versus left. You can see those power numbers dropping as well. So yes, he is known for his speeds, and he did set the most stolen base record with 63. He also had the highest average with 351 on the year. And super excited, he had 17 home runs, which is actually quite a bit for him. 86 RBIs, which is good. He also did pretty decent on the walks, 48, and only 93 strikeouts with 63 stolen bases. Below him is one of our top prospects, Nicky Lopez, a potential. He went up kind of a little bit. I expected, honestly, for him to go up more, but he kind of struggled down in AAA. He wasn't what we wanted him to be in AAA, which is kind of getting scary because he's starting to get up in the ages of 24, 25. He needs to make his major league debut soon, but right now it's not looking like he's ready for the pros. Going to our third baseman, Hunter Dozier had a decent year, increased +3s in contacts and gained 6 in power versus left. He's a right-handed batter. Our starting a third baseman, wish that'd go up a little bit more. His fielding is a little lower than I want it to be, but he did do too bad on the offensive side, hitting .280, had 7 stolen bases, 61 RBIs I'd like to see go up, but the 15 home runs we are happy with right now. Next guy is Cuthbert. He played a little bit for us in the majors, but he increased a little bit. 26 years of age, got the C potential, 69 overall. Gutierrez, 66 overall. He gained a little bit as well, but these guys aren't probably going to see long playing time in the majors. One person that will see some long time in the majors, hopefully soon, is Alec Bohm. He did pretty well as well. 22 years of age, a potential, 65 overall. He did come up for a brief stint in September call-ups, and he did pretty well. +5 in contact, +6 versus lefty contact. Added a little bit of power, and then actually lost a little bit of power versus lefties, but I expect that to go up quickly. I also like that his fielding went up. His fielding is one of the spots that he really needs to get better at. But when he was up in September, he played in 5 games, 18 at bats, went 9 for 18, so good for him. Going over to our shortstops, Alberto Mondesi going up to an 89 overall. At 23 years of age, he +10 with contact versus right, +12 with contact versus left, so we know he can hit, and he hit for a very high average this year. The speed up there as well gave him 50 stolen bases this year while hitting .339. The 11 home runs is pretty decent for him. I enjoy the 66 RBIs, especially with him hitting out of the second and third hitting spot. 50 stolen bases and caught 23 times. Yes, we'd like to get that a little bit better, but that's mostly my problem with how I steal. Nick Gordon did amazing since we traded for him. He was the brightest spot in our offense, and he absolutely crushed it. He did win Rookie of the Year, so congratulations to him. +7 in contact versus right, +6 in contact versus left, +7 in power versus right, and +2 in power versus left. He did hit for quite good power numbers, honestly. I didn't expect him to hit that many home runs, but he ended up hitting 23 home runs, 80 RBIs, so good for Nick Gordon. A great year for him. Xavier Edwards, we just traded for not too long ago in the season, and he's increasing a little bit as far as his plate discipline goes and clutch, but not really the contact I'm wanting. I'm wanting a higher increase in contact. Bobby Witt Jr. Made him because we drafted him, and I want to try to keep the roster as close as possible to the real life team with it still being realistic. So Bobby Witt Jr. on our team. I did also add some other of the first round picks in the draft to other teams, like Baltimore has Andy at catcher and stuff like that. So I did add those as well. Keep that in mind. Going over to left field, Alex Gordon. Decent year, 285. Couldn't be happier about that. 28 home runs is not bad. The best he's ever hit in his career. 94 RBIs is good. 39 walks could be a little bit higher. 97 strikeout is about average. But all around, I got to be happy with it, especially with how much we're paying him. He's not really someone we could just get rid of and have to pay, the huge millions of dollars of amount. But right behind him is Josh Naylor. We're expecting him to have a great career. He's only 21 years of age. You can see he went up +9 in contact versus left. He also increased to pretty much every other category. He did not play in the majors last year. Under him is Marcus Wilson. Excited about him as well. He's 22 years of age. He increased in his contact, a little bit in power, and then a little bit as, plate discipline, vision, that type of thing. Also getting a little bit better in the fielding stats as well. At 75 speed, he probably won't be stealing a lot of bases for us, but he will be a great hitter, hopefully sometime soon at 22 years of age. One of our great stealers is Terrence Gore. Honestly, we wanted him because of his speed, but he didn't really show it off. He got caught twice stealing, only stole one base, so went down and spent the rest of the year in AAA. These other guys down here at left field see potential. They might see playing time in the majors, but probably not. Just way too much to overcome, especially with center field having people like Nick Senzel. Nick Senzel we got in a trade, one of my favorite players, and he did underwhelming, I guess, so to speak. I thought he would do a lot better for us. I thought he would have more home runs. I thought he'd have more RBIs, but he honestly didn't have a bad year. He had a decent year. But 23 years of age, we're expecting him to get better. He's an 81 overall. A potential guy. Contact went up a little bit. And he had 278, which isn't awful. I mean, comparing to the rest of our team, it's a little low. But 278 is not awful. The 11 home runs I thought would be a little bit more. The 67 RBIs, the 88 strikeouts. Oof. Got to get better at that. Enjoyed the 11 stolen bases, 7 caught stealing. I wish that was a little bit lower. But all around, Nick had a great year. He came in 119 games, 136 hits, hit for a 278 average, so can't be upset about that. Franchi Cordero behind him. I expect to see him up in the majors again next year. He hit pretty well. He hit at the age of 24. He went up +2 in all contact and power ratings. He went up 4 in clutch and increased his fielding as well with some +2s and +3s. But what I said earlier is his statistics, and he did pretty good, hitting 298 average in 63 games total. I'm not sure what he hit when he got here, but it's 6 home runs, 27 RBIs. Pretty good. And 298, honestly, he won us that one game with a walk-off. I think it was the second game of the playoffs, so he's definitely got the power. He's definitely got what it takes to take us to the promised lands. Badu did pretty good. He increased 10 power versus lefties, so like to see that. Gigliotti might also be called up soon, 23 years of age, increased with contact versus right and power versus right. Power versus left took a big jump at +9, hitting that leadoff spot in AAA. His fielding is going up as well, but the arm strength I'd like to see a little bit higher, especially being center field. Mickey Moniak also had a great year, +3 in contact versus right, +5 in power versus right. It increased a little bit in other batting categories, and the fielding went up a little bit as well. Again, I'd like to see a little bit higher from him, but at age 20, that's not bad. Going over to our right fielders, Jorge Soler had a great year for us. He went up +11 in contact versus left, +9 in power versus left. He's pretty much become the left-handed pitcher killer. He didn't hit for a very high average at all. I think he hit for like 260 something versus righties, but he hit over 400 versus lefties, so his average came out to 294, which isn't bad. The 111 strikeouts is kind of bad, but we're happy with the 26 home runs, 84 RBIs, 43 walks, which isn't too bad, especially for Soler and a home run hitter. Brett Phillips is our next guy. He came up and did pretty well for us. +5 in contact versus right, +7 in versus left, +7 versus left power, and he increased a lot in the rest of his categories as well. The fielding going up as well. He's really becoming kind of our right fielder of the future. I wasn't sure if he would be able to continue to do this great, but I think he will probably be our person for the future. He did hit 242, which is a pretty low average, but he picked it up at the end of the year, and I know that he can, if he could do that for a full year, Brett Phillips is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Matthias did pretty good as well. He was out most of the season with that torn ACL. He's still out 4 to 5 months with that torn ACL, but his fielding went up quite a bit. Happy with that. And then the rest of the right fielders just kind of slowly increasing. We're happy with it, but as far as a whole, needs a lot of work. So as I said, the batting average, Whit Merrifield wins that at 351, beating out Mike Trout. Alberto Mondesi, you can see down below there in third. Alberto Mondesi did win the triples race with 18. And stolen bases goes to Whit Merrifield, 63-50 for Alberto Mondesi. So both of them stealing a lot of bases. That is a cornerstone of the Royals team. Exciting Jose Quintana ends up winning the lowest ERA. I did not see that coming, but at the end of the season, he ends up with a 2.90 ERA. As a team, batting average, we got first with 293. Going over to the awards, MVP award goes to JD Martinez. Congrats to him with those 48 home runs. Honestly, I think Mike Trout deserves to win it, but they go with home runs and RBIs for more. Cy Young goes to Chris Sale. Batting title goes to our one and only Whit Merrifield. Hit .352 on the year. Reliever of the Year award goes to Oliver Perez. Rookie of the Year award goes to Nick Gordon. So congrats to him. He hit .287 with 23 bombs and 78 RBIs. So good job for him. Hank Aaron award goes to Mike Trout. Quintana gets close to winning a Gold Glove for the pitcher. It looks like pretty much if he would have had one more put out, he would have stayed a chance in that award. But going through the Gold Gloves, some names you see there. Yomer Sanchez did pretty good. DJ LeMahieu did pretty good. Alex Gordon wins another Gold Glove in left field. He's won it 3 years in a row now, 2017, 2018, and now 2019. So only guy on our team that won a Gold Glove this year. Silver Slugger, designated hitter. Going over the Silver Slugger awards, Rainer Hearn gets really close in the first baseman, but Edwin Encarnacion gets it easily. Just a lot more powerful hitter than we have. Whit Merrifield, I'm surprised, did not win the Silver Slugger award. But again, Altuve had 31 home runs. So, I see why he didn't get it, even though he hit for the highest average. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Also, feel free to hit that red subscribe button. Please comment down below on if you were expecting anything different, if you thought we won enough awards, if you thought we won too many awards or something like that. Please comment that down below. In the next episode, we start the playoff run against the Houston Astros. You will have to stick around to see how we do. Until next time, Slacker out.